Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Poison Prez, and we're going to have another Total War Warhammer 2 replay. But before we start the video, why don't you guys consider subscribing or even liking this video? I'm noticing I'm not getting too many, or I see some people watching, but I really want some help with growing the channel. So if you guys consider that, that would be amazing. But with that out of the way, I will be playing the Dark Elves, and we're going to be versing the Lizardmen, specifically the Cult of Sotek. Now I'm going to be playing as Lokir Felheart as my lord, very standard set, and we're going to have a front line of Dark Shards with no shields. No shields are needed against Lizardmen in general, as the only projectiles that Lizardmen bring into this kind of matchup are skinks with like some blow darts or maybe some javelins from the skink cohorts. Not very powerful. I should outrange him every single time in a ranged battle, unless he brings Bastillodons with solar engines. But that's why I have just in case he has a lot of monsters, Dark Shards are very good against them since they're armor-piercing projectiles. Just a really good unit. You should bring them in almost every single Dark Elf matchup. Now, as the backline, I'm going to have 3 units of Dread Spears. Nothing special. Hold up the back line. I'm going to have 1 regiment around the Hellbrunei, which is just poison. The poison plus spear combination. Tried and tested. Always very good. 2 units of Harganeth Executioners. Now, I was deathly afraid of them bringing Temple Guard. Temple Guard are very powerful. They just essentially can have their way with any unit they want, even including infantry. So this unit will be cost-efficient, armor-piercing, anti-infantry, and murderous mastery. So if they have any Temple Guard, the Harganeth will do well against them. Of course, have to bring my mighty Chill of Santar, the War Hydra himself, a land dragon per se with regeneration. A very fun choice. I always love this unit. I always like to pick it if I can. And in this matchup, I don't see why I shouldn't pick it, unless they bring a Carnosaur. But that's what the Dark Shards are for. 2 units of Cold One Knights on each flank. So, anti-large. The reason I bring them is because they're high mass, very powerful, very good at taking out enemies that you can't push. Like, you need to be able to pinch the enemy and make them so they cannot escape when they attack you, and the mass of the Cold One Knights will do the job just right. Now, my opponent is the Lizardmen, the Cult of Sotek, and I love the color scheme of the Cult of Sotek. It's such a fun little scheme of just units, like little bananas, or mangoes or something like that. Opponent's going to bring a skink front line supported with Kroxigors. 3 units of Kroxigors and lots of Saurus warriors. Now, he has a lot of staying power and a lot of frontal push with these Kroxigors. Look at these crocodiles with paddles, and I love the Cult of Sotek look on them. I gotta use those more myself. Now, he is going to have some Red Crested Skinks on the flanks, including the Regiment Renowned cohort of Sotek. Just to round it out, add some poison damage. Pretty nice overall. But his lord, here comes the mighty lord himself, Tehenawan the Skink Moses. I love this. He's on a Engine of the Gods. Now, if you guys seen my previous videos, you know I love using the Engine of the Gods, but let's see if my opponent can effectively use it just as well as I do. Engine of the Gods, pretty hard to use in the first place, and even when fighting an opponent that knows what's going on, Engine of the Gods not going to help that much. Overall, pretty interesting build. No ranged, but it's not like the Lizardmen have really great range options anyway. Feral Bastillodon and a unit of Feral Cold Ones hidden just in case for a flank. Now let's get into the battlefield. Now I'm going to start some fire. I'm going to fire into the Bastillodon, but the Bastillodon is actually a very cheap unit. Only 750 gold. It's actually really not that good. It's not efficient to focus all my fire onto it. So instead, I'm going to focus fire onto the Kroxigors once they come into range. Now, Kroxigors cost 1,000 each and are probably the largest threat to my front line as of now, as spears don't do well. You need halberds, blackguards to deal with Kroxigors. So that's where the crossbow fire is going to happen. Now, my front line engagement is going to start. My Harganeth is going to engage their front line of units, and here comes the first Engine of the Gods. Luckily for me, I realized this, and I moved my Dark Shards out of the way, and very little damage, if at all, was caused by the Engine of the Gods. Now, that's how you deal with it. All you do is have to move. Frontline engagement is doing well, but there is a break in the pocket right here, and there's a break in the pocket right here. And unfortunately, because of this, the Kroxigors are going to push through my spears and my War Hydra and make it into my Dark Shards. This is a very good play by my opponent. Take out the ranged components. deal with my armor-piercing projectiles. Now, over in the forest on the left side, I'm going to have Harganeth versus Red-Crested Skinks and the cohort of Sotek. Not a great matchup, but the Harganeth Executioners will deal a lot of damage. Honestly, I should have my Harganeth fighting the Saurus Warriors, but luckily for me, I do have the Cold One Knights charge into the Kroxigors. I use a Melkos Mystifying Miasma, reduce their speed, make sure they cannot run away for sure. And the Cold One Knights will muck up the Kroxigors very well and very effectively. Now, my Cold One Knights on the left flank dealt with his Feral Cold Ones and will be coming back to charge into the enemy Kroxigors in the back flank, about to charge into Harganeth Executioners. You do not want Kroxigors fighting Harganeth Executioners. It's a terrible matchup. Now, a little slow motion here. He does get his Engine of the Gods Stegodon into my back line of Dark Shards, but here is very important when positioning your units. If you notice at the beginning, I had Dark Shards here, left, and right. And when they all collapse into different directions, because whenever they pressure one unit of Dark Shards, the rest can fire in. So he does pressuring one unit of Dark Shards, but the remaining two will be firing into Tehenwan, dealing a very good amount of damage. And making sure I get value out of most of my Dark Shards. Now, Amber Spear is going to go off, hit my Dread Spears, but my Dread Spears are supported by the Mighty Harganeth, and Harganeth is going to do very well against Saurus Warriors, as I said earlier. Now, it's going to be kind of a monster mash as I rear charge the Cold One Knights into the Hammer. The Hammer and the Anvil being the War Hydra. Now, the War Hydra is just doing his job, running amok, dealing massive amounts of damage. Already 49 kills, and I sent Lokir Felhart in as well. Lokir, you can barely see him. Lokir does so much damage. I just love him as a Lord. He just doesn't die. He may be a Footlord, but he's a Footlord with regeneration and great dueling of capabilities. Now, it's quite clear that the balance of power is in my favor, and I'm pretty happy with how my matchups went up. My Dark Shards are going to be firing, and my opponent had to get one good Engine of the Gods, so let me just showcase this. My poor Dark Shards getting blasted by a laser engine. Look at this battlefield. Such a great way. But let's go in and see the unit efficiencies. Alright, looking at unit efficiency, we have Lokir Felhar doing 24 kills, doing well, just in the melee, getting stuck in, regenerating health. Dread Spears did alright. It's interesting enough that the Hellbro Knight did worse, but they did their job. They held the line, while my Harganeth Executioner was getting 100 kills each. Like, just fantastic unit. Dark Shards not many kills, but they did HP damage to Tehenwan and the Kroxigors, and that's what we needed, with the Cold One Knights mucking up the Kroxigor models and doing so much damage, while the War Hydra did his job. I liked my build's opponent, though, because everybody loves the Engine of the Gods. It's just a fun thing to watch. It does a lot of damage. It's a spectacle and a meme. So if you guys liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more. I'll catch you guys later.